right, so us as a couple. All right, so us as a couple, we met back in November of 2012.
Yeah.
And Will eventually asked me to be his girlfriend. And we ended up, we were living separately. I had my own apartment, he had his own house. And Will had a stroke back in 2014, April 14th, 2014. We remember that day very well.
Yeah.
Will wasn't taking his medication correctly, and I didn't know at the time he was drinking a lot of rock stars, and I didn't know he had diabetes and he had hypertension. He didn't visit the doctor frequently, and his medication he didn't take on a regular basis. So
I didn't take my disease seriously. That's what happened there.
So when the symptoms and stuff started to happen that I didn't really recognize to be, I thought he was just coming down with something. I didn't know he was sick. We found out after going to the emergency room that his blood pressure was high. So of course they sent him home with medication. But at the time, Will had just lost a job, and he was scared that the medication was going to cost too much, and he didn't want to pay for it out of pocket. So he didn't pick up the medication, and a day or two later, he wasn't feeling quite great either. My family came over, cooked dinner, and we spent the day together, and then they went home, and I decided I'm just going to stay the night and keep an eye on him and go home in the morning and go to work. So spent the night around, I want to say 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Will woke up and he said, "Hey, I can't see." And I said,
"Where am I?"
Well, yeah, that too. He said, "Where am I?" And that he couldn't see. And I woke up screaming, "Well, it's dark because the lights are out. Turn the lights on." You know, like any other person would be, wake up saying, I thought he was dreaming, had a bad dream or something. But I turned on, he kept saying he couldn't see. I turned on the lights, and Will still could not see. So I got alarmed and alerted, and I went into full action gear, threw him into our vehicle, and drove him straight to the emergency room. Come to find out, we found out Will had a stroke. So Will had a stroke that damaged the back lower parts of his brain, which controls his vision, his motor skills. It affected his speaking just a little bit, but that came back. Will did have a deficit in his right hand, where he had a hard time making a fist, and that came back 100%. He did not retain his vision back 100%, and he lost his memory, which is short-term memory. So Will remembers a lot of like what happened back when he was younger, and he remembers a little bit before we got together, but he has a hard time remembering things up until about a couple months before we got together. And luckily the part that was great was that when he was in the hospital, he remembered who I was. So that was great.
It's cool.
I felt good about that. So through a lot of therapy and hard work, we've gotten a lot better at what he does. He had a tremendous therapist that came into our lives. Also, the Braille Institute of California in Rancho Mirage was a tremendous inspiration and a tremendous help to us. And we were always be indebted to them. And we worked together and we made it through.
Yeah.
You know, we had some bumps in the road, and the majority of our bumps came because we were renters and we were not homeowners. That the majority of the places we were living in, most of the people at the time were selling their houses, and so we had to move. So we had a 4-bedroom house, and guess who moved? Me.
Yeah.
So I moved not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times within in less than 3 years. Will and I got married April 20th, 2018 at Gemini State Park in DeBerry, Florida. It's one of our favorite parks here in Florida. We love DeBerry.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's very pretty, very majestic. I don't know, it's something about those trees and the moss and the water is breathtaking. And if you ever want to take gorgeous pictures, Gemini Springs.
Yeah, go there.
Yeah, I'm gonna splice in some pictures of our wedding.
Yeah.
We had really good wedding pictures. My plan was to get up and go to the park, capture some beautiful pictures, and start a new video today. But as you can hear, my windshield wipers are going because it's raining. It's always raining in Florida. Always. Just ruins everything. I was only going to be here for like maybe half an hour, but just ruins all the plans. We're going to go meet a friend at Chick-fil-A today. That's what we're doing. Chick-fil-A is always packed. I'll be good luck if we find a parking spot.
Are they giving away chicken or something?
No, they're not giving away chicken. They're giving away oodles, doodles, and good food. So we're here at Gemini Springs State Park, and this is where we got married. And it is one of our favorite places in Florida. And there's tons of alligators here. Hubby's getting hot. It's time to go back to the car. We had a nice day out at Gemini Springs. And we got to remember some memories. It might be our last time here, which makes us sad, but we'll visit. Right, babe?
Yep.
Spot right there. So we're gonna take it. I was gonna take that one, but I didn't notice it was a bike. snickerdoodles of goodness. All right, let's go inside. All right, see you guys. Bye. Please like and subscribe and follow us on YouTube. Live the good life
And living the dream.